What ho chaps, I'm MagicalMike, and not quite so recently as I would have liked, I played through Pokemon Gaia, a fan-made ROM hack based around the Fire Red era of games. It's been a long time since I did play this, so my memory is a little bit hazy, but let's talk about why this one stands out and got me playing a Pokemon game again. Because I haven't played any Pokemon games since, I think, Ruby and Sapphire. I may have played a little bit of Diamond or Pearl, but it's been like 12 or 13 years or so since I've really played one. So a fair bit of time has passed, and the games have, if you'll excuse the pun, evolved since Gen 3 came out. So I'm a little bit behind. Having such a basic knowledge of anything beyond Gen 3 means that I'm not going to be totally sure what is and isn't a standard in the more modern games. However, I can tell you that Gaia had a whole heap of features and quality of life that pleased me as a casual player to no end. First up is the story. I mean, it's pretty typical for a Pokemon game. We don't want to go into any of these games expecting all that much hard-hitting, Oscar-worthy, emotional writing, but I feel like this one managed to keep things relatively grounded, a little bit more adult than how I remember Pokemon games being, and kept characterizations cheeky and fun. The villains had proper motivation, the heroes get caught up in the plot sensibly whilst also having good reasons to be there, as well as doing the whole gym challenge thing, and there's a whole bunch of witty dialogue along the way that sounded realistic to me. It was fun, and not to mention that generic trainers had a ton of funny stuff to say. I actually recommend talking to them after every single one that you fight for even more of that stuff, and just talk to every NPC, because a lot of them have funny stuff to say. But that's not really the stuff I wanted to talk about. No, really, it's just the wide variety of quality of life and fun things that they added into the game that really pleased me. If you like a lot of the starters from all kinds of generations, then you can get hold of them fairly easily at various points in the game. Hell, you could have a team of 6 Trico if you really wanted to. There's 6 generations of starters in here, but your actual starter choices are going to be the Gen 4 guys, which I think are all pretty good all around. I personally picked Chimchar, but regretted not having Turtwig at some points early on. Speaking of teams and variety, man, the amount of different, useful Pokemon that they give you to catch right from the get-go is actually insane. No more Pidgey, Rattata, Nidoran starter team you're forced to have early on, now you're actually spoiled for choice. My flying type, for example, changed about 6 times as I played through. First it was a Tailo, and then I found a Pidgey, so I immediately swapped to that because I prefer Pidgey. And then I found a Starly, and then shortly after that a Wingull, and then later on a Fletchling, and eventually a Skarmory, which is one of my favourites of all time. I was amazed at the availability of such an early variety of stuff. We have Blitzels, Shinxes, Litleos, Arons, Larvatars, and you bet your ass I had a Tyranitar, oh yeah. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on, and it makes it an absolute joy to explore any new routes that you come across. Hell, even caves had varieties, not just a spam of Zubat, so props to them there too. This did come at a downside though. I'm fairly indecisive when it comes to finalising a team, so I ended up levelling about 20 different Pokemon to roughly between level 30 to 50 across the game, and that is a fair bit of grind. And I was somewhat punished for doing that a lot early on because there's just a few minor difficulty spikes that I encountered. Just some moments where I wish I had a smaller team that was a bit more focused and had a few more levels under their belts, but for the most part, everything felt well balanced along the way. The game does truly reward you for exploring too. I found loads of Mega Stones. Oh yeah, Megas are in this game. And on that note, the sprites for them and everything else are absolutely awesome. They're off the chain, man. I loved the artwork that went into the 2D versions of previously 3D only Pokemon. So many really cool sprites. But not only for that, you get loads of TMs, sellable items, special areas of grass with rarer Pokemon around, hidden grottos with unique encounters, and Mon to catch. Who doesn't enjoy finding a random Venonat hidden near the fairy gym, or a unique hidden Kangaskhan? There's always been something satisfying about catching rare stuff, so I really enjoyed these encounters. They managed to make some fairly average Pokemon seem special again, and that was cool. And the trainers in between all of this stuff will have a huge variety of Pokemon as well, and more often than not you'll come across people that have legit strategies in their teams, and teams that actually make sense as well. The Water Gym leader, for example, had a bunch of counter strategies to my Electric and Grass type advantages. I did not see Earthquake coming, nor did I expect the Pelipper to have Shockwave. I think there was maybe one of those random bug catchers that had a bunch of Caterpie and nothing else, but the dialogue afterwards recognised it as a joke and made fun of that trope too. There was a lot of that kind of stuff, just fun dialogue aplenty throughout. And just to list off a few more things that I found, TMs are reusable in Gaia, the move relearner is completely free, HMs are unfortunately in the game, but they're actually useful. Even cut is good here, being a decently powerful bug move now. The physical special split is in the game, making some of those old weird special moves on attacky Pokemon finally viable. Gym design is what you'd expect from an official game. Fun without being obnoxiously puzzly. You'll find ice types before level 20, which is, I think, a rare occurrence. Plenty of side quests are about. Some people will ask you to show them a specific Pokemon in return for some kind of reward. I think a few of these would actually give you the appropriate Mega Stone even, so they were worth doing too, even if you weren't particularly interested in that particular Mega. It's just still fun to have it and see it, right? They even changed various evolution methods to allow for the game being single player only, so you can actually evolve an Alakazam or a Gengar on your own now, or use a Regal Stone to get a Kingdra. So many great changes. Honestly, I'll leave a couple of links in the description of the video to an evolution method spreadsheet and a spoilery Pokemon location chart if you're interested in looking this stuff up for yourself. And finally, I suppose it's worth mentioning that there are a few unfinished parts. There's a lack of endgame content for now, with plans to use those eastern and northwestern map areas. There's tons of backtracking if you want to explore everything. The grind was quite high if you wanted to take advantage of newly catchable Pokemon a lot. Those couple of difficulty spikes were sudden, and I found it quite hard to settle on a team, and as I mentioned before, the HMs are unfortunately in the game. But these are really minor nitpicks in the grand scheme of things. If you like Pokemon and wanted to play a refined, fancy, fantastic new experience, then look no further than Gaia, because I enjoyed it an absolute ton, and I think any Pokemon fan would do too. Cheers very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.